Hi, this is Perrin Cornell with Caldwell Banker here in Wenatchee. I've been a realtor since 2004, and so I thought I'd take those 22 years and help some people maybe find the property they're looking for or sell the property they need to sell or want to sell and move on. So I'm going to do a series of programs, short ones, about those topics. And the very first one we're starting about relates to buyers. So I need to share my screen, and we will do that. And it's right here. And we go to play from start. So, so if you're thinking of buying or selling, in this case, if you're thinking about buying, you might want to take on a challenge like this, but I think probably not. So if you're a first-time buyer or you're an experienced homeowner, if you're thinking of buying again, here are a few tips and ideas that you might find helpful and might be successful with. First of all, do some homework. You're going to have to do some work. You're not just going to walk out in one day and say, bingo, I'd like to buy this house. I've seen that happen. And when it happens, I usually encourage them to go look at two or three more houses because they may not have a really good idea of what the market is. And even though we look online, and I'm going to talk about that, they still may not have a real good idea of what the market is. But you got to do some homework. And the good place to start is online, looking for homes for sale. Prices, styles, and features are the things you're going to want to concentrate on. How many bedrooms do you need? How many bedrooms does it have? What kind of a garage? Is it attached or detached? Or is it a two-car or a three-car or a carport? In our area, considering winters and sometimes weather in the spring and the fall, you might want a garage and certainly probably nothing less than at least a carport. Does it have a basement? Some people like a basement, some don't. Sometimes that's just a good storage area, additional square foot, or it can be additional living area. Does it have an open floor plan? That seems to be a big popular item now where the living room and dining room and kitchen and reception areas all kind of merge into one. What about the lot size? The size of the lot, there we go, its location and its amenities. Those things are important. We used to find a lot of lots that were around 10 to 30,000 square feet in size. We still find them, but more often than not now, lot sizes are quite a bit smaller. In fact, the minimum lot size in a lot of jurisdictions is 3,000 square feet, which is way different, okay? You want to get familiar with prices, what people are asking for their property and what they're getting for their properties. And one of the best ways to do it is looking online or going to open houses and walking through the house so you can get familiar with the house and the price at the same time. Is it more than just you? Well, then sit down and talk about what is important to each. What is necessary, what isn't? Are there any special needs? That kind of thing. It may save you a lot of time and a lot of heated discussion later on if you get it done up front. Interview a couple lenders, and I recommend at least two lenders. You're talking about a lot of money, and so you want to know what your options are. Um, Generally speaking, they're going to want, if you're dealing with a loan, they're going to want at least 2 months bank statements, including savings and investments. They're probably going to want a copy of some pay stubs to verify that you are in fact working. They're going to want a couple years tax returns. And they're going to pull a credit report. 600, 700, 800, who knows? Do you need to fix it? Maybe you do. Generally speaking, they will pull a credit report on each party. In fact, they pull three, one from each credit reporting area or each credit reporting company, credit bureaus. Then they take the mid score. So if you had your report, let's say on one report you have a 720, on another one you have a 660, and on another one you have a 701, they're going to use the 701. Uh, the other party, they're going to do the same to them, and then they're going to take the one that's the lowest and look at it first. Okay? So credit reports are really important. And so pull them in advance. Go online, pull a credit report, take a look at it, see if there's anything you need to fix. And you can maybe get some things fixed in about 30 days, and they'll be either off your report or corrected by the time you get ready to start moving forward. Loan types, what is right for you? Your lender can help you with this, and it can be hugely helpful. Not all lenders do the same kinds of loans. That's another reason to talk to a couple different lenders, okay? But the four primary types are FHA, which is generally 3.5% down. It may allow a little bit more debt to income, but they may be a little more picky about some of the condition of the house because they're loaning with a low down payment and with someone that maybe has a little higher debt income than other people might. Then there's a conventional loan. You hear a lot about conventional loans. Generally, they're going to require a down payment of anywhere to from 3 to 20% or more. If you get or more, you can drop the mortgage insurance, but if you're in the 3 to 20%, you're probably going to be required to have mortgage insurance, which is in part going to be dependent upon credit, how much you put down, and what the total amount of a loan is. Maybe if you've been in the military, you could qualify as a VA. Primarily, it's for veterans. They're zero down payment and they're more flexible on a credit score. However, there are other persons that may qualify for a VA loan. Uh, and usually it relates to certain types of government employment, but your lender can tell you about those, and no sense getting into them right now. USDA, that's another kind of loan. It's a zero down. There are location restrictions. For example, um, where we live, you can't do one within the city limits of Wenatchee. Uh, you can do them on the outside. You can do them within the city limits of Kashmir. So there's some restrictions that way. And their credit is a little bit tougher than FHA. So that's some good things. Okay. Bank versus mortgage bank. Two different kinds of companies. They operate differently. They have different requirements. Generally speaking, a mortgage bank has more various kinds of loans to fit different circumstances. However, a bank may have some very special loans that they want to put out because, so they can fill a need in their portfolio to meet certain lending requirements. So it's good to talk to one of each. It's a lot of money. It's good to talk to one of each. Then you got to find a realtor. Residential, land, new construction, whatever kind you need. Okay. You can get recommendations. Does he have recommendations on, or she? Do they have recommendations online, or do you know someone that's used them? What about their personality? How are you going to get along with them? Because you're going to be going through some fairly stressful times, and it's nice to be able to work with a person. Now, how knowledgeable are they? That's a very important factor. They can save you a lot of grief if they are really on top of their game and they know what they're doing. Again, I would recommend you interview one or two, and I recommend you interview them. Sit down and talk to them. Uh, Ask them about if they've got a a poor rating online. What happened? Let them know that you know about them and that you're looking for it. It's a good idea. But I can help you with that too because I know a really good one, and he happens to be a broker I know very well. So as side of a joke there. But my phone number is 509-669-0354. My uh, office number is 888-8887, also area code 509. Website, WenatcheeHomesWithParent.com. One word, WenatcheeHomesWithParent.com. And of course, Parent at cbcascade.com. And don't forget the three rules of real estate. I know you've heard them before. Location, location, and Perrin Cornell. And you won't go wrong with that. I guarantee you. But now, so let's talk about going shopping. We've done our groundwork and we've got our idea of how much we can borrow because the bank has told us what we can borrow. Many people are uncomfortable borrowing as much as the bank says they can borrow, which may come as a surprise. But a good agent can make recommendations and point you in the right direction for home inspectors, for insurance. Sometimes insurance can may be difficult depending on the location it is. Knowledgeable about septics and wells, and we have them in our area. A lot of people have a septic system. Many people have wells, and some have both. Lists of tradespeople you might need for remodeling, repair, plumbing, electricians, painters, all that kind of thing. Usually not necessary, but occasionally it is, and a good agent can point you to a good real estate attorney, or you may have one of your own. And they can also point you to a good title company that they like to work with and that they have a good working relationship with, which will help you in the end too. So, speaking of the end, this is not the end, but it is of this segment. And coming soon, we're going to be talking information for sellers. We're going to be talking about the contract and the offer. And then we're going to talk about bought, but what's next? So Perrin Cornell, Coldwell Banker, happy to help you anytime. 509-669-0354. I'm never too busy for your referrals.